In a very concerning situation, Roxanne Perez has been a victim of online violence recently. For those of you who may not be aware, there was a Twitter user who had been posting a daily countdown leading up to June 6th and the death of Roxanne Perez, essentially implying that there would be an attack on the Raw superstar and a threat to her life. These terrifying reports also follow an alleged stalker of Liv Morgan who had been apprehended at the WWE Performance Center a few days ago. Understandably, fans flooded the timeline trying to get a hold of anyone that could notify someone of this threat to Perez's life. There was extra added concern when this Twitter account posted an address which many presume to be Roxanne's. Raw General Manager Adam Pearce took to social media to say, quote, "It has been reported. If you know what I'm talking about, then you know what I'm talking about. Thank you to everyone that made me aware." And thankfully, the Twitter account that was posting all of these awful threats to Roxanne's life and the address has been taken down. And I really do hope that Roxanne is okay, because this is a scary situation. The news broke yesterday that Karrion Kross has a few months left on his current contract with WWE, and the company has not yet approached Kross about a renewal.
Because I know you're capable of doing very terrible things to people. Sammy, you're not a good guy. You're a bad guy, just like the rest of us.
Seemingly, the company at current time is happy to let Kross run out the rest of his contract and walk elsewhere, which many understandably think is a tremendous waste. Now, there is still time for things to change and for Kross to sign a new contract, but given the way the company has treated him, it's not far-fetched to predict how little they value him, despite the fact he is clearly over and a goldmine of untapped potential on WWE's main roster, receiving huge pops every time he's on the program. It's no secret that in recent months, Kross has expressed his frustrations with the WWE, both on Ariel Helwani and just after WrestleMania.
It's all about viral moments now. That's what it's all about. Viral moments. Well, guy, everybody's been telling me that I gotta become undeniable. And as soon as it happens, they ignore it and they shut it down. I never asked to wrestle Randy. I never asked. That happened organically, and you ignored it for a viral moment. And good on Joe. Nothing against him. But you ignored it, and the crowd told you exactly how they felt about me on SmackDown when I was eliminated, and you ignored it. Become undeniable. My ass. My ass! You want a viral moment? On behalf of all of the true fans of professional wrestling, guy with the suit and tie in the truck, go fuck yourself. That's from Killer Kross. No.
The lackluster booking of Karrion Kross has been noted by many even after that viral promo. His absence from the Money in the Bank ladder match being one of the most puzzling decisions. A match type that should be setting up the next guy to take the leap into the main event scene could instead potentially be won by a main eventer and already first ballot multi-time future Hall of Famer who's already won the briefcase. Although many are hoping to see someone like LA Knight finally get the briefcase, or perhaps El Grande Americano, because the work that Chad Gable and American Made have been doing has been absolutely entertaining and tremendous. Instead of including Karrion in this match or even having him in a qualifier, he has instead become something of a voice of conscience for Sami Zayn. We've seen quite a few of these backstage segments where he's slowly trying to worm the evil out of Sami Zayn, which could potentially lead to a Sami heel turn down the line through the Puppet Master Kross. I don't actually hate these segments, I quite enjoy them. However, they certainly should be supplementary to him wrestling week to week and building momentum in the ring too. And again, even if Americano or Rollins or whoever was always the Money in the Bank plan, he should absolutely be in that match. The Money in the Bank briefcase, in my opinion, should always be for the guys on the precipice of taking the next step and showcasing the potential to do so. It's no good having someone like Rhea Ripley or Seth Rollins in the match, or the Drew McIntyre situation from last year. The briefcase is the proverbial brass ring in sports entertainment, and it should have always been treated as such. You should have a guy like Ludwig Kaiser in there. This is all starting to feel a lot like a Dijak situation, where they squander this talent for so long and then just as they are seemingly about to give him a chance, he's gone. For me, I think the biggest draw around Karrion Kross right now is how real he is and how real he feels. So if WWE wants to tap into this and save themselves from squandering his potential, I think you take the CM Punk route. You mix the real with the scripted real-life opinions, you let him air his frustration to an extent, and give him an opportunity to use this controversy and create cash. Karrion also spoke recently about the release of the Final Testament and the unique relationship he has formed with the audience. audience.
You know, they give me AOP and they give me Paul Ellering, and I don't know them. I know Paul. I grew up watching him on TV. You know, I get to know these guys, really like them, and it's just the nature of our business. One minute you're here, the next you're not. You know, that was a bit of a tough hit, frustrating. You know, nothing you can do about it. You got to get present. You know, you grieve the situation. You got to move forward. And I just felt like there was a lot of touch and go with certain things going on. You know, on the way from there, we go to WrestleMania in Las Vegas. A lot of emotions. Everything happened the way it did. Things are crazy, but like, in a strange way, I wouldn't change any of it. Because as a result of everything that's happened, I would say over the last 5 years, it's put me in a place now to have a relationship with the audience that you wouldn't be able to write or fabricate. You wouldn't be able to create this. Like, what's happening right now is absolutely nuts, you know?
Let me know down in the comments below, what do you make of this Karrion Kross situation? Do you want to see him stay or go? In other news, Mariah May made her NXT debut this week, but reports via WrestleVotes indicate that she will be getting a new name. That Mariah March joke is starting to feel awfully Nostradamus, isn't it?
Oh my God!
Someone said Monica March, which I actually quite like. I've seen others suggest Mariah London. One person even said her name could be Mateo. While some WWE name changes are absolutely unnecessary and terrible, there are others which begin as an adjustment and then ultimately you get used to it. See reference Case Files, LA Knight, Braun Breaker, or Gunther. In other news, WWE supposedly did not want any R-Truth shirts being worn by talent during Raw this week, which is super weird because what's the big deal with them supporting their friend that you just fired for no reason? Sheamus also commented on R-Truth and Carlito's departure on the Pat McAfee show by saying this.
It's not the end. It's not the end. So many people, so many guys and girls have left and come back. It's not the end. Like, it's a bit of, sometimes it's a bit of a break, and there's no way Truth's not going to come back at some stage. I'm sure you'll see him again. Like,
definitely a Hall of Fame.
He's definitely a pillar, yeah. And it's the same with Carlito. Carlito was gone for a while. He came back, you know, and it's not the end. If you truly want to find your way back, you'll find your way back. It's not the end for anybody.
So many talented people.
Which he is absolutely right about. I'm sure one day R-Truth will reappear on screen in a comedic segment to a huge pop and everyone will rejoice. Maybe one day they'll just have him confusingly stumble into the Royal Rumble and go for a pinfall. But obviously in this scenario, the outrage stems from how unnecessary it all is. It's not that he won't come back ever, it's that he shouldn't have ever been let go in the first place. In other sad news, Kevin Owens may never wrestle again. He commented recently about his doubts of ever returning to the ring following neck surgery, saying, quote, "It would be not arrogant, but wrong to be able to tell you right now that I will absolutely return to the ring. I don't know if it's true." Let me tell you this right now, Kevin. First of all, thank you for an unbelievable amount of memory. Secondly, if his final match ends up being a banger Sami Zayn match, well, there is something beautifully poetic about that. But in a similar manner to my thoughts on Big E Langston, if they can return and are healthy and happy to do so, then please do. We miss you both. But if returning is going to jeopardize your quality of life with your family, your friends, and your livelihood, then please rest knowing you've done it all and won it all. Two men that have had tremendous Hall of Fame careers regardless of a comeback. But selfishly, I do think Kevin will be back when he's ready, and I hope it's to see him become world champion again after beating Sami Zayn down the road. Those two are genuinely two of the most compelling characters on and off screen, so please, Kevin, get well soon. By the way, you can get 15% off Fire Wrestling merch on Blacksmith Apparel with the discount code DDJ15. They have a ton of unique wrestling merch from the likes of Will Ospreay and Kurt Angle. From jackets to jerseys, t-shirts, and more, use DDJ15 for 15% off today. In other bizarre news, Logan Paul has pitched tag team names to John Cena for their alliance. One of them is Heel Team 6 and the other is simply the WWE. Cena loves Heel Team 6 and doesn't hate the WWE. First of all, John, we know you don't hate the WWE. Now stop messing around with this ruined wrestling nonsense and come back to the light. Second of all, Logan, you're teaming up with him for one night. relax. In other news, Tony Khan said he had a huge announcement last night, and then came the news that we will be getting Okada versus Omega at All in Texas. He saw Nick try to overshadow AEW and said, hold on, I'm personally pretty excited to see this match again. It goes without saying how legendary their string of matches have been throughout history. On the All Elite Wrestling note, during last night's Dynamite, Will Ospreay also said the only reason AEW sucks right now is because Jon Moxley is world champion.
Because people like myself, like Hangman, like Swerve, like Tony Storm, like Kenny Omega are the reason why AEW has momentum again. The only reason AEW sucks right now is because you're our world champ.
Nothing quite like going on live TV and saying, yeah, this product, it sucks. Which, as I've said before, I don't think AEW is that bad right now. I mean, like many, I'm absolutely crying out for the death of the Riders, but I think there's a lot to love on that show, and I'm super ready for All In. But as always, I want to hear what you think. What do you think about the current state of AEW? The Mayor of London, Sadiq Khan, is once again calling on Triple H to bring WrestleMania to London. He went on to say, quote, I'd love for WrestleMania to come to London. Triple H, if you're watching, we want WrestleMania to come to London. To which I say, you're goddamn right we do, come on, man. But I'm sure somewhere Triple H is saying, why, would I go to London when I could go to Las Vegas? Listen, Brums, you won WrestleMania? Big deal. Also in the news, Goldberg has said that he has injured himself a couple of times and that he is extremely limited due to his left knee, and as a result can't run without feeling pain whilst training for his quote retirement match. He says he's blown his shoulder out, blown his bicep out, and pulled a hamstring from throwing high kicks. Bill, maybe that's a sign that your retirement match has already happened.